another Friday Frenzy at dolallycrafts. This is the card we're making today, and I'm using, new to me anyway, our Watercolor Wings set, which has been out for a few years now, but this is, I've only just received it, so I'm really rapt to be able to use it. And also our new Just Add text, which has got some gorgeous sentiments on it. Anyway, as I said, this is the card we're using today, and we're using the Van Gogh sentiment from the Just Add text. It says, I feel that there is nothing more truly artistic than to love people, and on the inside I appreciate everything you do. And as you can see, I've done a bit of dot detail down the side there, but I just love the butterflies, and I hope you do too. So it's really easy to get started on this one. We're also using the Bold Butterflies framelits and the Butterflies Thinlits dies as well. So I've got a heap of extras. It's a very simple card, this one, with all the measurements can be found on my blog. So we're starting off with just this piece of 8 1/4 inch by 5 3/4 inch. It's been scored at 4 1/8 of an inch. We've also got just a piece of scrap. You can see I did have a butterfly stamp there, and then I dropped the butterfly stamp on there, so I got ink on it. So I'm going to use the reverse just here and here to get a couple more butterflies out of that. But I've also got a piece of vellum, so I'll pop that to the side, because the first thing I have to do is line this up and determine exactly where I'm going to start my butterflies from. So I'm going to have that there just for a moment, leave it sitting there, and then I'm going to come in with a pen, and I'm just going to mark where I want the edge of the card to be. So I want the edge of the card to be here. So just make sure that that's all lined up on the lines on the grid map. So there and there are where the edge of the card is going to be. So to make sure that I get these, I'm bringing in my big shot. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got my metallic platform on the bottom there. I've got a really well used cutting plate sitting there. I'm going to bring in my piece of Whisper White card base. Now this is the thick Whisper White. So I'm just going to line that up there, and then bring in my butterfly. The dog in the background is my in-laws' dog that you can hear barking. They've come round for a visit. Okay, so I've lined my butterfly up there. See if I can bring that down a bit further. So line that up there, and then I'm just going to pop the plate on, and I'm only doing a partial cut. So I'm only lining the plate up with those two little marks that I put in. Slide this through and make sure I don't move that top plate, and then just run that through just to cut the edge of that butterfly into the paper, into the cardstock. See? As you can see, it's only cut that little piece there. Now down the bottom here I need to do exactly the same thing. So line the paper up, or the cardstock up, move that down a bit further, line the cardstock up, and as you can see I'm just eyeballing this. So we'll tilt the butterfly like so, bring in the top plate, and once again just line it up with those two black marks that I popped on there, and then slide that in, keeping that top plate in place, and give it a quick back and forth, and we'll have the second butterfly cut out, as you can see. And then all we need to do for the third one, I'm just going to tilt it slightly like so, bring in the cutting plate, line it up again. Whoops. Line those pieces up again, slide it in, back and forth, and that should give us our third butterfly partially cut, as you can see. Okay, so while we've got the big shot out, I'll just move that cardstock aside. I will quickly cut out our 5 butterflies from the vellum. Okay, I'm going to fast forward through the rest of this. Okay, all of my butterflies have been cut out. I've just got to poke out all of the die. Oh, that one's broken. Got to get rid of all of these die cut pieces that are in each of these holes. Okay, I have all the vellum butterflies cut out. I'm just going to move my work pad away for a moment so that I can line up the edge of my card on my cutting mat. So I'm just going to come down and do a line along that edge, and then come in with, actually use a smaller pair of scissors just so that I can trim each of these butterflies out. As you can see, just matching the details up. There we go, and then just this last one. There we go. So that's the edge, this one up a little bit, just with the end of the scissors. Okay, I will bring back in my work pad. And now we can start with the inking. Okay, now I'm using the colours that are in the Delightful Daisy paper pack, but I've also added basic black. So I've got Night of Navy, Wisteria Wonder, Pool Party, Daffodil Delight, Calypso Coral, and Tranquil Tide. So what I'm going to do first, I've got all of my stamps mounted, so I'm going to come in and just do a couple of the larger butterflies with the Daffodil Delight. Like so. And then one with the Calypso Coral. That's beading a little bit, so I'm going to stamp off and do a second generation stamping with that one. Okay, so I'll get rid of the Calypso Coral and the Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to bring in the Tranquil Tide, and we will give a second generation of Tranquil Tide over the top of the Calypso Coral, like so. Oh, and then I've got to go Night of Navy on top of the yellow, but second generation each time. So I'll just stamp that off. There we go. One. Two. And because they're supposed to be watercolor wings, it doesn't matter if they're not quite centered, because they have to have a little bit of whimsy with them. Okay, so now I'm bringing in my basic black, and remember with the basic black, because it's an archival ink pad, you give it a twist and tap tap, and then line it up like so. Twist, tap tap, and line it up. Twist and tap tap, and there we go. So there's our basic butterflies, and I also have the body of the butterfly there as well. So we'll just pop him, and I'm just matching the divot behind the body here. There we go. So there's our butterflies that are on the base card. I'll move that aside and bring in my scrap. There we go. The basic black is now done. And I'm going to bring in our Pool Party and Wisteria Wonder. So I need to clean off. Okay, so I've done the basic black, and I'm just going to clean off the butterflies so that I've got nice clean surfaces, because these are both very pale colours. So there we go. Okay. So in with the Pool Party to start off with, and I might do a stamp off and stamp on with this one as well. So it's a very pale one. Okay, and then with the Wisteria Wonder as well. There we go. So I'll get rid of these two pads. And bring in the Night of Navy, which will be the final of all. So stamp off and stamp on, stamp off and stamp on, and there we go. Our final butterflies are done. So I'll pop all of those off. I'll be back in a moment. I'm just going to go and cut these out. Okay, so I've just stamped on the inside. That's all right to go. I'm just going to give these butterflies that will go on the outside a little bit of dimension, and then stick them on with the glue dots. So that one will go just in there, and this one I'm just bending, I don't know whether you can see that I'm just bending the glue dots over so they're a bit narrower on the back of the butterfly. And there we go. There's another one. So we'll just pop those down like so, and then bring in our sparkly bits and add a little bit of bling to the back of each of the butterflies where the glue dots are actually sitting. So we're hiding the glue dots like so. Give each of those a nice press down so that we know that they're firmly, and then we can just bring up the cardstock on these butterflies and the vellum, just to give a little bit more dimension. And you can even bring these ones down the bottom that have just got the vellum, give those wings a little bit of a flick up as well, so that they've also got a bit of dimension on them. And there you go. I'll get rid of this messy sheet, so I've got a nice clean one to have a look at. So there's the card we started with today, and that's the one we finished with, complete with the inside. I hope you've enjoyed today's card and you will give it a go, and I will see you again next Friday for another Friday Frenzy. Have a great week and have a great weekend. Stay safe.